Welcome back to Our Rules Restoration. Today I got Cobra Rattler Part 2. So Faraday Toys, I was down there and they had a walk-in of some shells, vehicles, whatnot, and they had this Cobra Rattler right here. It actually had the canopies, the rear canopy, all the engines, pretty much everything I needed to complete my one over here. Broken turret gun, so really this shell's not usable unless I can repair that. Broken landing gear, just going to use that for parts. But the parts I did need, they're sitting right here. So I was not able to fix that front canopy. It actually snapped the more I kept pushing on it. It snapped all the way out. So I have everything I need except for a couple things to make this one 100% complete. So I'm missing the bomb rack that holds these 3 missiles here. And I'm missing the 2 rubber tips that go on these missiles here. And I'll have a 100% complete one with the landing gear fully functioning. So I'm going to reset this camera up. The canopy has a broken tabs on it, which is pretty typical. I have a good fix for that with Lego. So I'll show you how that works. We'll go ahead and reassemble this. And I'm not going to make a part 3 because the rack and the missile tips, anybody can do. You just put them on there and snap them in. Let me reset this camera up and we'll go from there. Alright, I got the camera reset up. So first thing is I'm going to put the motors on. One of them had both tabs. One of them was missing one tab. That's pretty typical. So turbine tips on the back. Intakes on the front. Put them in the little channels. Now, there's only one way they go because of the tabs. We'll pick it up. Don't want to put pressure on that landing gear. This one has both tabs. Oops, dropped the missile. And set the engines on. They kind of taper back. That goes towards the rear of the covers. That holds everything together there. Same thing with this side. Pull engines. So front, just slide it in carefully. Kind of squeeze it to get it in. This one has both tabs on the rear. The other one was broke. Get that gun out of the way. Don't want to break this one. Kind of work it over. There we go. Front canopy done. Rear canopy. Now what most people do here is they just sit that on there and that's the end of the story. Doesn't really hold. Doesn't work. Great for display. I have a fix for that using Lego. So I use a whip antenna. Did this on a couple of them before. I'll take and cut the ball off the end. What I do is I put this in there and I put the canopy on. So I put that in there, put the canopy on. Let me set this where people can see it. Not the easiest way to do it, but put that on and then I kind of get the length. I go a little bit longer because it's going to go around the curve there. So I'm going to cut that to length. Set that to the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force it in the hole. Matter of fact, I'm going to get this all the way out of the way. Easiest. So there we go. I'm going to force this in the hole. Bend it to shape. And then I'm going to stick this in here. So right now it's not touching. It's got a little bit too much length to it. Take a little bit of it off. I want it to touch that canopy. Same thing, put it in the hole. canopy on, and I'm going to force it up underneath there. So now we got that right there. I'm going to use some plastic weld. I'm going to plastic weld that Lego to that, and this will actually open and pivot. It's not the way it was factory, but it actually holds it on and makes it functionable. Looks like it should have been there. So let me get my plastic weld. Take the canopy off. Run it down the Lego. I don't put it on the canopy, I don't want it running. I'm going to let that sit into the Lego, eat up a little bit. Take this on, push it down. And I'll let that sit. So what I'm going to do is just come around a little bit more on the top. Let it work down in the crack. And I'll let that sit for a good half an hour to an hour and mold into the plastic. So now it doesn't pop off, and when I'm done it'll be able to function and open. So it's better than just sitting one on top of there, and it's an easy fix. If you haven't got your Lego whip antennas yet off the Lego website, you're really missing out, to be honest. So I'll come back when this sets up. I'll pop that on. That'll be the end of this video. Once I pop that on, these parts are coming, the two tips and the missile rack, and I'll have a complete, fully functioning landing gear Rattler. Alright, so I've given that about 30-40 minutes to dry. I did put a little dab of super glue on there as well, just to beef up the weld to that. So let's see if it works. Open it up. It hinges, holds, recloses. So unfortunately they don't make clear Lego. If anybody knows where you can get a little piece of clear tube about the same size as that whip antenna, this would be a cool fix. I'd buy these all day long, repair them, and sell them. But I didn't want to go with 3D printed. It's too cloudy. But that's fully functionable. I've did this many times. Easy fix. So I'll go ahead and snap this in the plane. Taking it off the ground. Raise the gun a little bit. And there we go. So besides the missile rack to hold these three missiles and the two tips, which I have on the way, this is a complete Rattler. Really disappointed I couldn't fix that front glass, but sometimes you can't. That thing was as folded up as I've ever seen. The rear I had a broken tab on one side, so it wasn't holding well. This one's both. Nice clean clear windshield, canopy, whatever. Got the rear working. Landing gear is completely fixed on it. So these were all broke when I started. Unfortunately it took 3 to 1. Once I get the rack there, the two tips there, she's good to go. Probably pick up a wild weasel for it. Not sure if I'm going to keep this, hang it over my flag, get rid of it, whatever. If I was keeping it, I'd re-decal it, but right now it's got all the OG decals on there. Kid did put all these in the wrong spot. We'll leave them for character. But thanks for watching. More videos to come soon. I appreciate everybody.